Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We are back again at it here in the weekly game plan. So you're just going to wait a bit for folks to join, and then we can get started here right away. All right. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to get started right away here. Just waiting for a few folks to join here, and then we shall kick it up. Check out what the futures market is showing here. All right, so let's get started here. So last week was we had a lot of things go on last week. So I'm going to go through the week in review here, and then we shall go through the game plan for the week, how I plan to make money this week. Share my screen here. All righty. Perfect. So welcome to the weekly game plan. In this weekly game plan, I'm going to talk about the game plan for the week, how we plan to make money this week in the options market, in the futures market, and also in the cryptos market, right? So we have something for everybody. So if you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and like this video if you after the stuff. So make sure you subscribe so that every single Sunday I go live here to provide viewers with my game plan for the week, how I plan to make money this week. Okay, so my name is Richard Ajay. I'm the co-founder here at Trading Rich and Head Trader. So I'm going to get started here with what transpired last week. So last week we got the FOMC minutes release, and this was slightly hawkish, right? It was slightly hawkish. Some Fed members were saying that they should, hold off on interest rate cuts. So anytime they say hold off on interest rate cuts, it's not something that is pleasant to the market, because the market is yearning for more interest rate cuts, but it looks like that's not going to come anytime soon, right? So Thursday we had Walmart. So Walmart earnings is very critical because it gives investors the overview of how the economy is performing. So Walmart earnings were good, but the guidance was weak. So because of that, the company announced a $13 billion share buybacks program. So a share buyback program, what it means is that the company is buying back some of their outstanding shares in order to reduce the amount of shares outstanding, right? So if supply decreases, that means that demand is also going to increase, and it's going to make sure that the stock price does not sell off a lot. It helps the stock price to rally, right? So Walmart had already done like $1 trillion valuation a couple of weeks ago, so it was already extended. So it got a little bit of a pullback, but I think that Walmart is going to recover this week here. It's going to bounce and recover from the sell-off. We are going to go through the Walmart chart in the chart session here of this weekly game plan. The next thing that happened was on Friday, we got PCE inflation. So PCE inflation data is the Fed's favorite inflation gauge or preferred inflation gauge. Okay. So what happened was that the PCE went up, so inflation ticked up a bit, and also GDP. Last quarter's GDP was 4.4, but this time around it came in drastically low, underwhelmingly low, and that was not good. So we have prices going up and then the performance of the economy going down, kind of thing, right? So and we've seen over the years and months that most of the things that is driving the US economy right now is the AI spending, right? If you take the AI spending out, the US economy should have been in a recession a long time ago, but the AI spending is holding the economy strong and holding it afloat. So we shall see how long that stays on from now to the end of the year here. Also, one significant news was that the Supreme Court struck down President Trump's tariffs that he had imposed using the Emergency Powers Act. So basically, the Supreme Court, for once, Supreme Court was objective and not being they weren't like politically inclined, right? So they ruled it based on an objective manner, and because of that, they struck down President Trump's tariffs and said those tariffs were unconstitutional, which is going to be so it means that what this means is that the government have to refund about 175 billion of tariffs collected from different countries and back to them. So President Trump was not happy with this, obviously, because this is signature economic policy to hike tariffs on countries, use that money to pay down the national debt, and right now that looks like it's not going to happen. So he went ahead to announce 10% global tariffs on all countries. And on Saturday, that was increased to 15%, right? So from Friday, it was 10%. And Saturday, it was 15%. So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow is going to be 20%. Who knows, right? So, yeah. So what it means is that the Trump tariffs are unconstitutional. So those that have been in the market for some time, you know that last year, April, the Trump tariffs caused the market sell-off, and it caused the market to get what is called a flash crash, which pushed the market into a bear market of selling off from 20% from recent highs. So yeah, so we shall see how the tariffs news is going to play out. But I think that around the world, the indices that I've checked, like the South Korean index is up today. Most indices are up. Canadian TSX was up. It's trading at all-time high and it's ripping, right? So it looks like most countries have moved on from the tariff situation. They know that right now these tariffs are unconstitutional and they have no merit. So we shall see how that is going to play out with the stock market here. And then the stock market was really happy to see that the Supreme Court struck down the tariffs, because on Friday we saw that the US stock market was up and it rallied significantly on Friday for major indices. So we shall see how things play out this week here, whether the tariff narrative is going to pull down the market or is it going to push up the market. And that's what I'm going to discuss here tonight on how plan to make money during the week. Okay. All right. So now the next section is to talk about market sectors and how they performed last week, right? The S&P was green, and then the week, so this is the whole week action, that's Monday to Friday. It was you closed green. The Nasdaq did better than the S&P. Russell was underwhelming, but it still closed green. So all the three indices closed green here, and the Dow as well closed green as well. So everything more or less like closed green. But the individual sectors, technology did well. Then financials closed green as well. Healthcare closed red on the week. Discretionary sector closed green. Industrials closed green as well. So we have consumer staples that stayed in, which was red. We had the bonds go down, 10-year yield go down. VIX was down as well because of what happened on Friday, but VIX was most of the week up. And then gold went up by 1.32%. And then we have oil too doing well. So oil has been doing really well this year. And those that are in our swing trading service, we had alerted a trade for Occidental and XLE. So those the Occidental is an oil stock that has done really well, and that gave us significant return on investment. And so far, it's still on that road to continue rallying. The same thing applies to the XLE energy index, right? So we see here that the energy sector closed green. So oil, I believe, is going to be one of the best performing sectors this year. Last year it didn't do well, but this year is going to do well with rumors of US wanting to strike Iran and attack Iran. Then that is also going to fit to the narrative of making oil sector stocks go up. So over here, we are going to go through some of the economic catalysts for the week. And one sec. Economic catalyst for the week. So let's go to the. So first go to the. This is the economic calendar here, Market Watch. So Monday we don't have much here, nothing of significance, just this Fed governor speaking. Then factory orders, this is not a big deal. Tuesday, we are going to look at consumer sentiment is something that can move the market. And all the other things here are all Fed speaks. And Wednesday, we have more Fed speeches. And then Thursday is what is going to be important. So this initial jobless claims, their forecast is 215. So anything that comes above that is going to be not taken as a good news for the market. But also, if these jobless claims get worse, it's going to cause the Fed to step in and start cutting interest rate again. So we shall see how that plays out. And then Friday, we have PPI, Producer Price Index. That is also going to be something that is market moving, and that's going to happen at pre-market. Okay, so we shall see how that plays out. So those are the key things for the week here in terms of economic catalysts. And we shall see how things play out in the coming week. Okay, so now let's go into the earnings, right? We have some earnings coming up this week. So we have some of the ones that I'll be watching out closely are going to be Nvda is going to be the main one, because that's the king of the AI stocks. That's the captain of the AI teams. So it needs to perform. So Nvda has been down for some time now. I believe that if they can produce some good earnings, it's going to lift up the stock, and it's also going to lift up the NASDAQ and the general market. So we shall see how that plays out. Also, Home Depot is also an important one here. And Cover is not bad, Cover, and then Snowflake. So software have been going through a demolition this year. So we shall see how Snowflake performs. So Snowflake is in the software space, things to do with AI. So we see how Snowflake performs, whether they are going to also continue, they are going to sell similar to other software stocks, or are they going to remain resilient? And then we have CoreWeave. CoreWeave is going to post their earnings on Thursday. And then we have Dell. Dell is also a hardware company for AI as well. So that one, I haven't traded it in a while, but I think they will also have to show and do well, and that's going to help the whole AI narrative. But I think that Nvda is the main one this week to watch. Other than that, those other ones that I've mentioned are also ones that we can watch as well. Okay. All right. So those are the earnings. So that's what we have here in the earnings. So Monday, there's nothing really, these companies are not big deal of a companies, but Tuesday, Home Depot for sure, Carver also. And then here we have Salesforce. Okay, on Wednesday we have some good ones. We have Salesforce, we have Snowflakes, we have Nvda. Those ones are going to be something that are market moving. Okay. All right. So now let's check out the charts. Let's check out charts to watch this week. So last week we saw that last week was more like a push and pull effect, right? Market went up, came down, market went up, and then eventually popped on Friday due to the news, right? So we shall see which direction things are going to move this week, and then based on that, we can position ourselves strategically to benefit from it. Okay, so right now as we speak, the futures market, the last time I checked, was red. Let me check again to make sure whether it's still red or is it recovering. So I'll not be surprised if the futures market recover and turn green by tomorrow morning, or we shall see, right? So far, futures market is selling, Bitcoin is selling, Ethereum is selling, everything is selling but silver and gold, right? Silver, I believe silver and gold are going to get a massive breakout this week. So watch out for silver and gold. That's those two commodities are the ones that I'll be watching closely this week for a big breakout. So we shall see how those play out this week. So yeah, so we're going to start with, let's go to the S&P 500. Let's go to the SPY. So SPY here, this is what we have. I'll take the lines off. So we have seen that this white line is the 100 SMA, right? The 100 SMA has held support for the longest time. It has held support since May 2025, and it's been holding all throughout that time. So we shall see how things work out. Like if the bulls have done a good job to hold this and hold tight here in the 100 SMA. If they continue, if they can hold above, break and hold of the 20 SMA here, this line here, like 690, break and close above 690 will send this out higher, right? And we could even make new all-time highs very soon. Okay, so we shall see how that plays out. So here, this is the April trend line. This has acted as, support, and then we broke it and we are here now. So this looks like we are not done yet until we clear this area this week. So if SPY is able to trade above 690, then you look to buy call options, you look to go along and target these profit targets, right? However, if we get a sell like what we have right now, so currently the futures market is saying that, this is 4 points. So this is down by 4 points. This is down by 4 points. So this is going to be around 485. Is it 485-ish? Yeah. So let's mark it here. Okay. So this is 4 points, almost 4 points, right? So let's say it comes somewhere here. So if the SPY were to open right now, it's going to open somewhere here within this region, between these two levels. That means that you're going to get something like this, like a gap down, where you have like a red candle. Let's see if I can draw the red candle. Yeah, you can get a red candle like this somewhere there, right? Standing here. So we shall see how this plays out. Are we going to go down further to this area? So this area here is going to act as key support, 682. And then I believe you might come down here and retest the 100 SMA again. So we shall see how things play out in the this week here with the SPY. So for now, what I'll say is that we just have to wait and see what happens in the morning. But right now, the futures market is down. So if the market were to open right now, it's going to open somewhere here, right? 685-ish, right? Between 686 and 685. So that's where price is going to open, right? And let's check out the VIX. VIX is the volatility index. So volatility index will open green on Monday. So here, this trend line. So here, this trend line drew this last week, Monday, and you see that price has still not broken it. So here we could get a pop here tomorrow. If we can clear this yellow line, this can push up, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the market. So we shall see how things work out in the morning. Okay. All right. So VIX, a breakout of this trend line zone means that it's going to take us to 28, and 28 on the VIX or $30 on the VIX means that significant volatility in the market. We are going to get a big sell in the market. Okay. All right. So now let's look at the QQQ. QQQ is the tech heavy index, right? The Nasdaq, the ETF over the Nasdaq. If you look at the monthly chart, you're going to see that QQQ has done nothing since October, right? It's been trading within this channel here since October, and it hasn't done really much. So it's been frustrating for bulls to hold this and trade it because it's always been trading within a range. So at some point, we are going to get that break either to the downside or we get the breakout to the upside. So for now, we are still, this is what I see here for now. Let's look at, let's go to the daily chart. So on the daily chart, this looks to me like a bear flag. This is a bear flag here. So it's trying to hold this bear flag here, but it's still not out of the woods yet. So if the QQQ is able to trade above the white line, this white line, and above the red line, then it's game time for the bulls. They're going to push this up and possibly take it to all-time high. But for now, as long as it's staying below this zone, as long as it's staying below this zone, it is not bullish, right? As long as it's staying within this zone, it's still going to remain, it still favors like the best, right? Until such a time that we clear this area. So this area here, let me shade it as red. So until we clear this area, the bears, the bulls have not gotten the job done. They need to clear it. So here we have a bear flag. So this bear flag can go up and continue doing this until the point where it will do this and break down, right? Break below the flag, the bottom of the flag, and do something like this. If that happens, we shall head here to the yellow line, right? Where the 200 SMAs, this is where it is. So we shall see how things work out this week. But the QQQ is still in a bear flag, even though we had that big candle on Friday, right? The job is not done yet. So we shall see how this works out here. The futures market is down, so this should be somewhere trading within somewhere here if the market were to open right now. Okay, so I'll mark this level. So we'll be somewhere here tomorrow. Okay. All right. So next thing is, let's look at the IWM. First of all, let's look at the DIA. DIA is the, so the DIA has been respecting this, like it came all the way respecting this 2023 trend line. And now what did he do? It bounced, it came to the bottom of, so this was a high probability trade here, guys. So you see here, anytime price came here, bounce, 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 or support. And then here, what do you think it's going to do here? It's going to do the same thing. Then bounce here. So if the DIA can trade, break and hold above this 497, then it's going to push up to higher target. So here I see a mini trend line here. Mini trend line here with this stuff. So let's see how this works out this week, right? So this is a mini trend line here. Break off this mini trend line will send DIA to 500 and beyond. Okay. All right. So DIA still remains strong, but the futures market is down. So we'll be trading somewhere here within this region. Next, and market is selling because of the tariffs, right? Tariff trade 15% on global tariffs, all that kind of thing. So it's just a mess. It's just like chaos, right? So the market does not like confusion and chaos. So here, next thing is I'm going to look at IWM, the Russell. So the Russell is setting up for, I believe it's setting up for some kind of breakout. So this is the weekly chart. If you connect the lows of April 2025 to the lows of this, you are going to get this trend line here, right? And over here, you can clearly see that this is looking like a bull flag. This is a bull flag. And once we clear this yellow box, the top of this yellow box is going to head back to previous all-time highs and then possibly make new all-time highs. So if you go to the daily, this is how it looks like. So we might be just trading within this range, and it's probably going to come down and hold the 50 SMA again and see if it can push. So yeah, so IWM looks, the chart looks stronger than the other three indices. So if the markets come strong and IWM is strong, I'm going to target certain small cap stocks that I'm going to talk about in this live stream. So I just wanted to give you guys an overview of what is happening in the major indices before we tackle the individual stocks that are listed in them. Because as a trader, if you want to swing trade anything, you want to check to see where is this stock listed, how is that index doing, right? Because if the index is weak or selling off and you are going long on your stock, is a recipe for disaster, because it's most of the times, 9 out of 10 times, it's not going to work, right? Because the index or the ETF is going to act as gravity on it. So you're trying to go up and the index is acting as a gravity on your stock, right? Meaning that it's going against the trend. So typically, if you want to swing trade anything, you want to watch the index or the ETF, what it's doing. If it's going up, you want your stock to go up as well, right? You want to buy longs. If it's going down, you want to buy shorts. That's how it is. It makes life easy that way. Okay. All right. But don't get me wrong, there are certain times that there are certain stocks that are showing relative strength and going against the index, right? Relative strength means that a particular stock is stronger than its index or ETF. Okay. So here, next one is, now that I've done this, let's go to the let's go to the gold. Let's check out gold. So gold, I believe, is looking poised for a breakout this week here. So this gold chart, let's look at it. Take off these drawings. So gold, you can see that gold has always respected this red line. If you look at it. Well, this red line here is the 50 EMA. This on the daily chart. It's been respecting. It came down here on that big sell-off. It held it, and what it is going up, right? So here, this is your cap. Pulled back. Its handle is going back. So do not be surprised to see gold go to all-time highs again, previous all-time highs, either this week or next week, sometime in March. So let's keep it at sometime in March, right? That's more realistic. So because here, this thing is looking very strong today. Everything is selling because investors are scared and confused about the tariff situation, how it's going to impact the market. But they know that silver and gold are always safe havens in times of crisis and in times of confusion, right? So that's why they're flocking and buying gold and silver. So at Trading Rich swing trading service, we already have a position on silver that we are holding. It was down for some time, but told members to relax because this is going to do well. And so far, we're seeing silver recover. I'm going to go through that shortly. And here we have gold, right? So gold is doing well. I believe that it still has room to go up to the upside. So next target for gold here is this level, 5,202. Once it breaks that, it's going to head up here to this area. So here, next target, and then it can go to the previous all-time high. So I believe that it's going to come here and it's going to break out, right? So this is very good for a breakout play. And then for silver is looking very strong as well. Silver is looking very strong as well. So if you look at silver, let me take off this line. So these are some, I did a video on silver and gold that was on the long weekend. So if you've not watched it, please check the video section. You are going to see the silver and gold. I told everybody that silver and gold were going to recover and do well. And even here, this is what I drew here. I drew this invested and shoulders pattern, and it has played out spectacularly well, right? Look at it. Left shoulder, right here, right? So you have the invested and shoulders pattern, which is a bullish setup, right? Bullish reversal pattern. So here we are ripping so far. So a remount of the 20 SMA is going to be a big milestone for silver, right? That tells me that we are going to now push. And then here, if I do put my price imbalance stuff here, volume profile, let me see if I can get it to work. Volume profile, where are you? Let's do this. Let's go to the weekly. Volume profile, where are you? This one. Okay, it's here. So I'm going to anchor it here. Let me just anchor from here. Okay. So right here, let me go to the daily chart. So you're going to see that there's a lot of volume here. So if you look at this area, the volume becomes thin, right? So once silver gets to this area here, which is going to be somewhere here, right? If silver gets to this area, it's going to be like a place where there's limited volume, so it's going to move rapidly, right? Rapidly. So anytime you see a bearish engulfing candle or a bullish engulfing candle, it typically creates a volume imbalance, right, in the stock or ETF or commodity or whatever, right? It could be crypto, it could be anything, right? Same thing, right? Same ideas. So here, once it gets here, because there's a thin or low volume here, we are going to see a rapid move in this. We can get like a squeeze to the upside. Okay, so that's something that I'm going to be watching here this week on silver. And here we have, let's see here, we have this trend line here. We have a tiny little trend line here, I think is one. I don't think it's that important right now, but I think that this here is going to push. Once it breaks above this area, break above 94, we'll see silver push and possibly go to all-time highs, previous all-time highs, and make new all-time highs. So this is poised for a big move that's going to send it back again into frenzy and craziness, right? So yeah, so silver is playing out well. The invested and shoulders has worked out nicely so far. It needs to push and break out of this level. So this is going to be the breakout zone for silver. $94 is going to send it. Okay. Now, so if you're an options trader, how do you trade this? So here, I have here silver SLV. So as I was saying, we have an SLV position in our swing trading service. We bought this we bought this here. I told members that this was going to come back down. It's going to play games. So just be patient. So all this while, this pull back here, add it to the position, and then look at what we are doing here. So we need this. So I believe that with this rally today in the futures market, we are going to see this. We are going to see this push above, because the real silver is trading above the 20. So most likely we are going to see this. We are going to see SLV trade above the 20 tomorrow. So we'll be around $80 or more, and and that's going to push this up. Yeah. So here we have this. So I have this line here on silver, right? So you see price came here and then held this and then bounced from there. Okay. So now this was a bear flag setup, but it could not work out. It could not break. It came here, almost broke it, but it couldn't break it. And now we are remounted. It's not done yet. It needs to break and hold the 20 SMA and then push up, right? And it's going to fill that volume, low volume areas, and it's going to push up and make new all-time highs. So silver, if you are going to trade this, you can look to get like $80 calls and buy. So what I've realized with silver and gold is that it's best to trade these things as a swing trade, right? Because most of the moves in gold and silver typically happens overnight. So if you want to catch those moves, day trade, you can still day trade it, but the big moves are usually happen during the overnight session, like in the night and stuff. So you can You can swing and day trade them, but I think the bigger moves are going to come with these swings. If you swing them, you can capture any gap ups and then any kind of move during the day. Okay, so here this is good for a swing trade. You can get $80 calls. Buy time on this, because once this starts rallying, it's going to do well. So something expiring in March 20th, April 20th, whatever, April sometime, just buy it, hold it, know where your stop loss is, and allow it to play out. So here in this trade, if we're able to gap up above the 20, I would like to put my stop loss below where this trend line is and below the 20. At least the 20 must hold for this to continue pushing up. Okay. And with gold, in gold, I showed this in the video that I did last week on gold and silver. You see that this pennant here worked out nicely, right? This wedge pattern worked out nicely and is breaking out. So today, tomorrow, if the market opens, we are going to head towards the gap fill. So I like gold 480 calls for options like the ETF GLD. I like it for 480 calls. You buy time on it, expiring sometime in March, and then March 20th or sometime in April, so that I can capture the big move from here on into the previous all-time highs and new all-time highs, right? Okay. All right. So we've done the one for gold and silver. Now let's go to Bitcoin, crypto. Boy, oh boy, this crypto is always selling. What's going on, crypto guys? This is always selling. So we shall see what happens here. It looks as if sorry, let me go to this, what I wanted to check out. Yeah, so this is a daily chart here. We are already breaking below my wedge pattern that I drew. This is not good. So here, so this is what we have here. So this is the daily chart of Bitcoin. And we are seeing that this was something that looked like a bullish wedge pattern. Now it's coming down here to this area. So what needs to happen is that the bulls must protect this level, this 65,000. If they don't do, then we are going to get Bitcoin come all the way here, and then it could down go up, right? We shall see. We shall see how that plays out. But this not looking good. This looking very bearish and breaking below here. So this here, I was looking for a squeeze, looking for some kind of a squeeze. So this is your flagpole. This is your pennant kind of thing, where we can form the upper 50% is showing what looks like a bull flag, but we are breaking below it. It's not done yet. We are still in the trading session, so we should see how this works out. But if we break below 65,000, this is going to head down, and you can look to short Bitcoin and Bitcoin related ETFs and stocks. Okay, so here we have one way to trade Bitcoin is use the ETF IBIT. So tomorrow, if this sell-off continues, IBIT will come down and possibly come and retest this level. So this is a trend line here that is holding. So if it holds here and bounces, you can put in what looks like a double bottom, and then from there it can reverse. So we shall see how this plays out. But you know, as long as the market sells, crypto has no choice; it's going to sell, because that's the most riskiest asset. And if even the S&P and the Dow are selling, then crypto and Bitcoin is going to sell. Okay. All right. So now let's go into the individual stocks. Individual stocks. We have the individual stocks here. Yeah. So I think got a message from somebody here. So here, let's say, if you're interested in signing up for our swing trading service, you come to our website, tradingrate.com. You click on courses, you come here, you have the weekly alerts. So the weekly alerts, it's $47 USD per month. So here, I'll put it in the chat. Then you can take advantage of it if you want to sign up, right? So we already posted the tickets for the week, the top 30 tickets for the week. It's ready to go on Monday. And also, if you want to day trade with us every day, is here. is the live day trading session. So that's here we trade both options and futures, and we start with the game plan for futures at 8:45 a.m. Eastern, and 9 a.m. Eastern we talk about the stocks and options, stock options game plan, where we trade ETFs and stocks using options, right? We execute using options, but we analyze the ETFs and the stocks, individual stocks, and also trade futures as well. So if you are looking to pass your prop firm challenge as a futures trader, there's the service for you. So on Friday we hit a home run on QQQ and NQ futures and ES futures for those that traded with us. It was a fantastic trade. So, and all was called live in the day trading session. So we even recorded here. We even traded live on YouTube. So check out the videos on YouTube, the live videos. You are going to see the live day trading session for futures and options that we had last week, Friday. So I can see how the trade plan worked out exactly when the market opened and we executed on it. Okay. All right. So let's go to the individual stocks. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. Any questions or any tickers that you want me to review, feel free to put that ticker in the chat, and then I'll be happy to review them as well. So here I will go into the individual tickers for the week. So I have a number of stock here, and depends on how things are going to open up. If we open red, then I mean fine, we can trade it. It doesn't matter. Actually, gap downs, I like gap downs, right? Gap downs are one of my favorite strategies, right? I like it when there's a gap down where people get faked out and we can day trade it beautifully, catch the reversal, right? So my first ticker here for today is, I'm going to take a look at, so I'll start with the energy stocks, right? I'll start with Occidental. What a beautiful trade on Occidental. So here, this year has been, this is a stock that we traded. So we entered this stock a day before the US administration went to Venezuela to capture their president, Maduro, right? On that day, I mentioned that was January 2nd, and the incident happened on January 3rd. On January 2nd, I sent the message to subscribers. I said that I think the US is going to go into Venezuela to do something, either they fight Venezuela or throw some bombs there, whatever it is. And that's going to cause oil prices to go up because Venezuela has oil. So anything to do with oil, if one country goes to attack the other, it's going to cause oil prices to rise. And I alerted a trade that was Occidental, $45 calls expiring in June. And our target was for this to come to $50. So he exceeded it that last week. And I believe that this is not done yet. It still has more room to go, especially if the US goes ahead to launch a war on Iran due to their nuclear program. So we'll see how that works out. But so far, this has been good. I believe that we are going to get some kind of continuation here on this week. So a pullback into the 100 SMA due to the market, due to the tariff situation right now and the market being red. A pullback into the 100 SMA is possible. So early pullback on Monday, then buyers are going to step in, they hold it, and then it breaks above this level, right? Breaks above this weekly level here. Then we are going to get that squeeze to the upside. So over here, we see this downsloping trend line coming down. And if we can do that and break out, this is off to the races. This could go, then the next target will be the 200 SMA here, 56. And then we're going to get the push, which can go as high as $60 and beyond, so 65, right? So this is not done yet, but I expect to see a pullback due to the weakness in the market, in the futures market now. So we'll get a pullback and then we can push up. So Occidental, I'm going to be watching it closely to see how things work out here in the oil markets. oil related stock. Okay, so now I'm going to go through Nvda because it has earnings coming up this week. Let's see how things are shaping up. So Nvda here was yeah, still trading below this supply zone or resistance trend line zone. So it needs to find a way to blast through here. So hopefully that's going to come in the earnings. If that happens, we are going to break, it's going to break above here and then possibly head to 195 or even 200. So we shall see how the earnings go. If the earnings is good, then this is going to push. If the earnings is bad, then it's going to cause this to sell and go to the downside. So we shall see how that works out this week here. But this one, I'm not going to trade it until after the earnings, right? Anytime there's an earnings for a stock, I don't like trading the options because it's going to be, the option prices are going to be inflated. And even when you trade them, it doesn't really move that much, right? So I'll just stay away from it and wait until after the earnings. But based on this, it looks like we are going to get a beat and a push up. By the time the earnings come, I believe Nvda is going to be green. But how green is going to be, that one I don't know. I can't tell you, right? Because right now the expectation every time Nvda posts earnings is that it has to be very good. So there's a lot of pressure on Nvda, right? So if it comes in and the earnings is not all that good, then they are going to smack it down. It's going to sell off. But if the earnings is good, it's going to go up. The last time the earnings was okay, but the market, the Wall Street did not really like it, so it sold off. So we shall see if that pattern continues here. And if Nvidia sells off, it means that Nasdaq and the market is going to sell off as well. Okay. All right. So let's look at next ticker here that I'm watching here. So the Magnificent Seven have been beaten down a lot, and I believe that some of them are oversold and due for a bounce. One of them is Microsoft. So Microsoft, has been selling off a lot. So I'm going to see whether Microsoft is going to come to this yellow line this week. So I mean, early push into this area, price holds, and then you get a bounce, right? You get a bounce to the upside. So if you look at here, we need this to come here. If it continues coming here, then we can buy it, and then we can take a long here to the upside on Microsoft, because Microsoft always holds this 200-week simple moving average. So I believe that we are going to get that similar bounce coming up soon. Okay, but Microsoft is undervalued. So if you want something for long-term hold, this is the best time to buy Microsoft and continue buying into this area and below it, right? So Microsoft, whatever happens, is going to come good and it's going to do well. So here, what I'm going to do tomorrow is that if price breaks below this trend line here, I'm going to look to short Microsoft and get the move to the downside. So here, this is the chart, this is the line here, from here to this area, okay? And with the way the futures market is down, I'll not be surprised this is going to break tomorrow. So break below 390.91 or 390, we'll look to get put options and ride it to the downside and take profit here. It's a place where you have to take profit 375, and then anything beyond that is going to be a more of a cherry on the cake. So next area here, I think price can come all the way to 350. That is if it fails to hold this one here, this 200 SMA. If it fails to hold it, then we are going to go down and we are going to get to that. So Microsoft is one stock that I'm going to be watching for a downside break to the downside in terms of a short. Okay. Next one is Amazon. Amazon and Microsoft have been selling off a lot. So Amazon must hold this trend line here, this weekly trend line. You must hold it. And it traded yesterday on Friday above the 100-week simple moving average. So we shall see how the gap down is going to affect it. Maybe it's going to come somewhere here, somewhere maybe to something. So Amazon at this price is a good price to buy for long term. You can buy and then hold and continue buying, because Amazon and Nvidia, Amazon and Microsoft are stocks that are going nowhere, right? whatever happens, they are going to come back up and they are going to make new all-time highs. So over here, we are going to watch this. So in this trade, if you're looking for a swing trade, make sure that the stock does not break below and close below this trend line, because if it does, then it's going to head lower and you don't want to be holding and waiting, right? So a trade above 206 is going to be a long. A break below this level is going to be a short, right? Puts it to the downside. Okay. Alrighty. So next one is Google. So Google has been strong amongst the Magnificent Seven. It's still trading near all-time highs. We shall see here if this 20 SMA holds tomorrow. So here, this candle must hold like this area. So here we have a double bottom here, guys. So this is a double bottom. Bitcoin falls to 65,000, so below Bitcoin. Oh my God, Bitcoin is just keep on selling. So here, this is this trading below here. So there's fear in the market. People are scared selling Bitcoin again. So we have this as a double bottom here. So this double bottom must hold, but if it gets invalidated, we are going to go down and it's going to be a short trade for this. So the 20 SMA is the main anchor. It must hold it or else it's going to go down and sell off. Okay. So we shall see how this trades above here. So above the moving averages, this is going to push up and it's going to go back to all-time high. But with the way the market is weak this week tonight, it remains to be seen how this is going to play out tomorrow. But this here is a critical level that price must hold, right? So as long as we hold here, there's hope for this to push up. Or what can happen here is that this can do this, push up, and then put in what looks like a head and shoulders pattern, right? And then it can start selling off. That's something that can happen, right? Can just sell off. So we shall see how that works out tomorrow in the week ahead. Next one that I have here is, so with crypto selling, then I'm going to look to short Robinhood. Robinhood, right? So Robinhood most likely will be trading below this trend line here. So this trend line is going to act as my, my stop loss for a short. So we are going to take Robinhood is going to come here to 67. And then, so this is the weekly chart, by the way. So I'm looking for a move here into this area at least. So there's a possibility for this to come in and sell to $62 this week, right? Because Bitcoin is selling and this is going to push down to the downside. So if you go to the daily chart, look at what it's doing. So I'm looking to see if we can short this to the downside where we break below this wedge pattern and then we form something like this, form like a red candle that goes down and then boom, it sends it down, right? It sends it down to this area. See this? Something like this, right? So that's a week. That's how I'm looking at. So I'm going to look to short this Robinhood tomorrow. So let's check out something here. It's something I want to check out. Whoops, see. So we are breaking below here. So this is going to be a short. So if you're a crypto trader, you can short Bitcoin here, and this can come all the way here. So next area, if this continues, is going to be here, 62,000, and then from here we are going to come here. So let me check out something here on Robinhood. I'm just curious to see how the volume profile looks like. Check out the volume profile here. Go to the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame here. Okay. So as you can see, we have a very big volume discrepancy here, right? Low volume region. So if we come here, if we break below here, this area here, this volume area is going to be filled, right? So this can come all the way here. Where is it? Oh, it can come as long as $50, right? If this comes down. So this area here must hold. This is where the previous support is. It must hold, else it's going to go down and fill this volume gap. Okay. All right. That's Robinhood. And what's the next short that I have in mind here? I'm also going to look at ASTS. So ASTS, I was reviewing the chart and I saw something interesting, right? Let me just take out these lines. So we've seen that every single time ASTS has come here at the 100, it always breaks it, right? So if you do math on this, like calculations on this, you're going to see that from here to here is what? That was from here to here was a 7% drop. Then from here to here is the longest drop is going to be 11%. So if you find the average of the two, you get something around, the 8% range. So here it means that this can come all the way down here to somewhere here, right? So if you put it like this, you're going to see it here. It's supposed to come somewhere here. Maybe the support somewhere here, 75. So if it comes here, maybe it might just curve up and go up, right? So here I'm looking to short this to the downside. So you see here, this trend line here is holding. So this trend line here is going to act as my key stop loss or resistance. And here, this is this candle. So this candle here is going to be my main stop loss, okay, for the trade. If I'm going to swing this, that's going to be my main stop loss. So if we break below here, we are going to head down to $69. And from there, we'll go lower, okay? So over here, we have this. And yeah, so this can play out well tomorrow. We'll see how that plays out in the morning and how big the gap down is, okay? So ASTS, I'm leaning short on this, looking to short this tomorrow. If the opportunity presents itself, this has room to come all the way to $69, or even it can get worse and go as low as this area. So this is where the 200 is. This is not just going to happen in one day, it's going to happen over a period of time, right? So this so you must hold the 100 SMA the way that's held here in the past, okay? All right, so another thing I'm going to watch as well is I'm going to be watching certain stocks. Like I'm going to watch something like Walmart. Walmart sold off last time. So you see here, this 121 level. If Walmart can break below this 121 level, then we're going to look to short it to the downside and target the next area. So we are going to come here to the 50 SMA. So a push to the 50 SMA could do the trick in terms of a short. But if it holds this upsloping mini trend line, then we are going to look to push up. But if not, it's going to be a good short to the downside. There are a couple of stocks that I like for longs, but some of them might not play out like now because the market is selling off. So I'm going to flag it anyways. SMCI. So SMCI, if Nvda delivers good earnings, is in the AI space, I think this one is also going to do well. So if you look at SMCI, it's been holding this trend line support for the longest time. And then now it's trading here. So this is like consolidation. If it can blast through this level, $32.94, then it's going to push and break out. But this stock has never been the same since it sold off from all-time highs here in 2024. So it's not reliable sometimes, but if it can break through there, and if the IWM stays strong, this is going to do well, and it's going to break out and go. So you can have it on your radar, have it somewhere, set alerts on your computer. Like here, you can set alerts of break of $33. Let me know, and I'm going to take the trade. That's it. That's what you need to do, right? But also, because the market is weak, we can short this to the downside and go to this gap fill. So there's a gap fill here that needs to be filled. So this could be a good one early this week. And then once the gap is filled and the market gets a little bit strong, it's going to return to the upside, right? So by here, this is a gap fill, a classic gap fill thing, right? Yeah, so that's something that I'm going to be watching. Again, it depends on how the market situation works out. And then I have here MU. So MU is part of this memory chip stocks that have been so strong and it's difficult for them to sell off. So MU has a very nice bullish pattern here to break out. However, with the market weak tonight, this could be trading red in the morning and it could lead to a sell to the downside, right? So we will see how things transpire in the morning and then we can use that to trade. But a break above this downsloping trend line is going to send this up to 438 and beyond, right? So however, if we do this, I see something here. If we do something like that, so if we break below this mini trend line here, then we are going to look to short this to the downside. So we shall see where price opens up tomorrow morning. So here we can have something like this, and then this is going to lead to the sell-off. Okay, something like this. So it's either to go up or it's going to sell off, right? If it breaks out, it's going to be something like this with a green candle. But if it sells off, it's going to be something like that. So yeah. So these are the key stocks that I'm watching. Some of them depends on what's going to happen tomorrow. I have some other small caps, some such as Ondas. I was expecting it to do well on Friday, but that's the problem with small caps. Everything was up, but this small cap stock went down. So this should have broken out. It tried to break out here on Thursday. We thought it was going to go, and now it's back down here, right? So I think it has filled the gap now, I believe, right? It's filled the gap now. So with the market weak, I think it's going to come all the way here to this area, to where the 100 SMA is. So it could be a good opportunity to short this to the downside, targeting the 100 SMA, and then any break below it is going to, go down further. But I believe this, if the market returns to winning ways, I believe that this is going to push up and break out from here. Okay. So yeah, so guys, that's about it for tonight. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. Yeah, so those that are part of our day trading service, we shall look to trade the market tomorrow. I always like gap downs, right? Gap downs are one of my favorite setups. So I'm looking forward to trading it tomorrow. And yeah, so let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll look here at the chat to see if there are any questions. Any questions so far? Do you have any tickets you want me to review or something that you've seen? Any tickets you want to review here? Okay. So Apple has been good. Let's see if Apple can break above this moving averages congestion. Okay. All right, guys. If there are no questions, then have a good night. And we'll look to trade live with the day trading subscribers, and then the swing trading subscribers. You already put the tickets for the week. We are going to look to execute on them tomorrow morning when the trades trigger. Have a good night. Bye for now. And subscribe to the channel if you've not done so. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great trading week. Bye-bye. Bye for now.